I watched my wife open her anniversary gift, and her face went completely pale. The small velvet box sat open in her trembling hands. Inside was a diamond bracelet, the exact one she'd pointed out at the jewelry store 6 months ago. But she wasn't smiling. She wasn't crying happy tears. Her lips had gone white, and her eyes darted to our bedroom door like she was calculating an escape route. I'd been married to Vanessa for 8 years. I knew every expression on her face. This one was new. This was fear. "Where did you get this?" she whispered. I smiled and told her I'd been saving for months. She didn't believe me. I could see it in the way her jaw tightened, the way her fingers wouldn't stop shaking around the bracelet she'd allegedly wanted so badly. The thing is, I hadn't been saving for months. I'd found that bracelet 3 weeks ago in the glove compartment of her car, stuffed inside a receipt from a hotel 40 miles outside the city. The receipt was dated the same weekend she'd told me she was visiting her sick mother in Ohio. Her mother had been dead for 2 years. I didn't confront her that night. Instead, I started paying attention. I checked her phone while she showered and found a second number saved under dentist office that she texted 15 times a day. I logged into our bank account and discovered withdrawals I'd never seen before, small amounts that added up to almost $9,000 over the past year. But the bracelet was what broke me. It wasn't something she'd pointed out at a store. It was something someone else had given her. She tried to recover. She plastered on a smile and said it was beautiful, that she loved it, that I shouldn't have. But her voice cracked on the last word, and she wouldn't meet my eyes. I asked her to put it on. Her hands shook so badly she couldn't work the clasp. I reached over to help her, and she flinched away from me like I was going to hit her. That's when I pulled out the envelope I'd been hiding behind the couch cushion. Inside were printed screenshots from her second phone, the one she thought I didn't know about. Messages to a man named David spanning 18 months. Photos I wish I could unsee. Plans they'd made together. "What is this?" she asked, but her voice was barely a whisper. I told her to keep reading. She flipped through the pages, her face cycling through denial, shock, and something that looked almost like relief, like she'd been waiting for this moment, like keeping the secret had been exhausting her. The messages weren't just about an affair. They were about money, our money. David was a financial advisor she'd met at her gym, and together they'd been siphoning funds from my business account for over a year. Small transfers routed through shell companies he'd set up. I owned a construction company with 40 employees. She'd been bleeding it dry while I worked 60-hour weeks trying to figure out why our margins kept shrinking, but that wasn't even the worst part. I reached into my jacket pocket and pulled out the document that had arrived by certified mail 3 days ago. A life insurance policy I'd never signed. $2 million with Vanessa as the sole beneficiary, taken out 14 months ago using a forged signature. The policy had a suicide clause that expired in 30 days. I watched her face as she read it. I watched the exact moment she understood that I knew everything. "It's not what you think," she started. I asked her what I was supposed to think. She stood up so fast the bracelet box fell to the floor. "David said it was just for security," she said, "just in case something happened to you naturally." I pulled out my phone and showed her the screen. My brother-in-law was a detective in the fraud division. He'd been listening to our entire conversation through a live call I'd placed in my pocket 20 minutes ago. She grabbed for the phone, but I stepped back. Through the speaker, my brother-in-law's voice was calm and professional. "Mrs. Holloway, I'd advise you not to leave the residence. Officers are already on their way." Vanessa's legs gave out. She collapsed onto the couch, her perfect anniversary makeup running down her cheeks in black streaks. She kept saying my name over and over, begging me to understand, to forgive her, to make it stop. I didn't say anything. I just watched the woman I'd loved for a decade fall apart in front of me. The police arrived 11 minutes later. They arrested Vanessa in our living room while our neighbors watched from their porches. David was picked up at his apartment an hour after that. His laptop contained detailed plans for how my death would look like an accident, a fall from scaffolding at one of my job sites, staged for maximum plausibility. The insurance company had already been investigating the forged policy. My brother-in-law said they'd been building a case for weeks, waiting for the right moment to move. Vanessa tried to make bail, but the judge denied it. Flight risk, they said. She'd already purchased a one-way ticket to Costa Rica for the week after my policy's suicide clause expired. The divorce was finalized 4 months later. David got 12 years. Vanessa got 15.